So I'm really glad that we are doing this on Zoom because I think China needs to hear a little bit about freedom.
Yes, they do.
So China, if you're listening, freedom. Hello and welcome to InfoWhores. We're your hosts. I'm Nat.
And you almost forgot your name. I'm San. That's Nat.
So today we are joined by someone extra special, Maxime Bernier. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be with you. That will be fun.
Awesome. So before we get started, we just want to thank you because actually, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have a podcast. We never would have met. We met actually on election night in a bar in Toronto in support of our PPC candidate, Robert Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for our podcast, and you're now an honorary InfoWhore.
Yay.
Great.
So Maxime Bernier, today we wanted to have you on the show to discuss a little more than just your policies. You established a reputation in the media pretty early on, but we don't feel your voters really know who you are beyond party leader and politician. We've both had really positive interactions with you in the past and feel not a lot of people really realize just how nice you are.
Yeah.
So we are going to start the episode off with a light and easy question just to break the ice. So what is your favorite movie?
First, I must admit that I'm not watching a lot of the movies. But the one that I remember a long time ago was Rocky 1. And why Rocky 1 and the boxer? Because Rocky was, not the favorite. He was not supposed to win, working hard, doing everything to be at the top of his game, and work hard, train, have a vision. And I really enjoyed that movie a long time ago. But I didn't like the 2, 3, or 4, or 5. The first one was a very good movie. And it's a little bit, for me, it's a little bit the same thing with the People's Party of Canada. We are working hard and we're not high in the poll right now. We are building something. And I believe that with time, we will be successful. So that's why I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, that's great. That's my son and I actually watched that recently too.
Yeah, everyone loves a good underdog story.
Yeah,
so
for sure. So Greta Thunberg recently tweeted her disdain for the G7 leaders for celebrating with steak and lobster dinners and a jet show. So given your brief media backlash a couple years ago for calling her out, we just wanted to ask you, how do you like your steak cooked?
I like it medium, but I'm not a steak guy. I won't, I will do a steak maybe one every week. I prefer to eat beans and pasta and salad. But yes, when I'm having a steak, usually it's on barbecue. It would be medium rare. So, and nice. I like also to put a lot of spices on my steaks, pepper and so. But for me, it's a kind of a special day when I'm eating a steak. I prefer to during the week to eat beans and pasta and salad, and I'm doing a lot of smoothies also. My breakfast will be green smoothies. And I will drink that just after my run in the morning. And so that's, I'm not so fancy, but I like to eat good food.
Nice.
It's always nice to know that there is not an elitist leading a party in 2021. So that's really nice to hear. A man of the people. So now that we've broken the ice a little, let's talk about some of the criticism you faced in the media. I mean, the media puts a lot of energy into slandering you and essentially kneecapping you politically. So how do you endure so much criticism? Do you have any sort of ways of coping? And do you have any advice for people hesitant to speak out because they may face some criticism?
Yeah, first, I think you must always speak out. Speak to your friends, your family about what you believe. Don't be scared of the media. Don't be scared of the reaction from the other person. First, yes, it can be tough when you're a politician to have the media always on your back and not want to have a discussion about your policies, and they don't want to give us any good coverage. I'm speaking about the mainstream national media.
Yep.
But to manage my stress when I don't like something, usually I'll go for a run and relax a little bit. I like to do marathons, so I'm training on a regular basis. Cool. So when I have a stressful day, I will do a run. And if I'm in Montreal, I will have a sauna after that. I like to have an infrared sauna. But when I'm traveling, I can run everywhere. So I like to run, and that's a way for me to manage my stress. But that's a good thing right now that people are not only taking their news from the mainstream media, they are taking their news also from the social media. The only challenge that we are having there, it's the big tech and the big corporation, the censorship over there. It's more and more present on social media. That's something that we must fight, and I try to do that. Can you imagine that maybe you don't like him or you like him, but the former president of the United States, Mr. Trump, is not able to be on Facebook, on social media,
it's insane.
On Twitter? He's not a terrorist. He's a politician. You like it or not, he may have the right to be there. And it's in 2021, I think people are looking at it like it's normal. It is not normal. Today it will be another day. It can be me. It can be you. So that's why I think it's important to speak about what we believe. And this party has been founded on 4 principles: and individual freedom, personal responsibility, respect, and fairness. We will respect everybody, but at the same time, we want to have our freedom back on social media. That's a big challenge. And the mainstream media, I'm doing my best to when I have an interview there, but it's always a kind of aggressive interview. They don't like to hear a conservative point of view. And we must admit that we are in a socialist era right now. So that's a little bit more difficult for us to be on the mainstream media. But I'm looking forward for the next general election, maybe this fall, and we'll take all the opportunities to speak about what we believe and promote our ideas.
Very good.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. So moving on, you've been very vocal and honest about your convictions. And we know, given your political history, you fared well with more fiscal conservatives. But your popularity of late, especially with the Lockdown Caucus and even speaking out against cancel culture and things like that, you've been more popular amongst social conservatives, especially, in our opinion, a lot of women. So what are your thoughts on the saying, behind every successful man there stands a woman? And would you like to give a shout out to your beautiful wife, Catherine?
First, I won't say beside. I'll say just on my side. We are working together. It can be tough for her a little bit because I'm traveling a lot, and she's working also full time in Montreal. But it's important. She shares for sure the same ideas and the same philosophy. And she knows when I had a bad day, I will have a good discussion with her, and we'll go together for a little run and just to relax a little bit. And also, she's always there to give me some advice, her point of view, and I think it's important for me. She's not deep into politics, but she's following me, and sometimes when I'm asking for a good advice, and I'm not sure about something that I want to tweet or something that I want to say in a speech, we'll have a discussion, and I appreciate her point of view. That's helping me in my political career, but also the fact that being with her, it's we will celebrate our 30 years of being together as an official couple. But I'm with her for the last, I think, 12 years, So it's for me. I think personally, it would have been more difficult to do what I'm doing without her, and she's helping me in the very tough time. So I'm very happy that she's in my life.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is way too sweet.
That is very adorable.
Oh, that's great. So, alternatively, on the other side of the gender coin, do you have any thoughts on the state of masculinity in Canada? Just given, a lot of our major Canadian politicians have kind of caved to the mob under pressure. They're not really rooted in truth. They pander and apologize. It's just not very masculine what we're seeing. Can you speak to that a little bit more?
So you're absolutely right about that. I want to apologize for being white. I want to apologize for my ideas. That's not my kind. You must have strong ideas, and for me, I had a privilege to have a couple of private discussions with Jordan Peterson, and I really like what he's doing. And I think what you said in the beginning, when I decided to jump into politics in 2006. It was all about the economy. I'm a free market guy, a fiscal conservative, like you said, and that was what I was. What I like in politics, it was the economy, and I was very well known. I was a minister, but now the most important is to be against the cancel culture and don't be afraid to be a Canadian. Be proud to be a Canadian. We will celebrate our Canada Day, the 1st of July, and it's very sad that some cities across the country decided not to celebrate Canada Day because of these woke and leftists. We must celebrate. We must be proud to be Canadians, and it's more and more important. So, I won't cave. I won't play that book. I won't, and maybe I will be criticized for that. But I prefer to be myself, to be honest with my ideas, with what I believe. And so it is now more and more important to be out there and to promote our values.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So just speaking on the frail state of leadership in Canada, and given our politicians are currently very drunk on power, why do you think the restrictions have varied province to province? I mean, for example, BC is governed by the NDP, and their restrictions have been a lot more lax than Ontario, which is run by an alleged conservative. So what do you think about that?
You're absolutely right, and you can add Quebec on that. Mr. Legault is a kind of a conservative. That's a kind of a conservative government in Quebec, and Mr. Legault, and we can add also Jason Kenney in Alberta, Mr. Ford in Ontario. They're supposed to be conservative government, and in fact, they don't act like a conservative government. And you're right. The best example is the NDP government in BC. I was there, and I was, the restrictions were not so hard than the one we had in Ontario with the stay-at-home order. In Quebec with the curfew, we had that for a long time. We didn't have the right to go out there after 8:00 p.m. until 5:00 a.m. And all these draconian restrictions, it's very difficult for me to explain. I'll give you an example of Jason Kenney. I know Jason Kenney personally. We were together. I was a conservative at that time. He was a conservative minister. We were around the cabinet table together. Jason Kenney was a very good minister at that time under Harper, a real conservative, and we had a good discussion about values and policies. And so now, as the Premier of Alberta, I don't recognize him. He is listening to the establishment, to the medical establishment, and he doesn't want to have any discussion. In Alberta, I don't remember how many pastors they arrested. More than 2, 3. In Manitoba, as you know, I've been arrested there, and that's supposed to be Mr. Pallister. It's supposed to be. He is a conservative government. So I don't have. I really don't know. I don't have any ideas why they're worse than the NDP government.
Yeah.
So it was a big surprise. Legault in Quebec, same thing. He had a lot of support from the Conservative, and he was elected as a Conservative, saying that he would balance the budget and respect people. But he did the same thing than Ford and Kelly. So I really cannot answer your question. I don't know why they were acting like that, but you can count on me. We are the People's Party of Canada, the only real conservative party here in Canada, and I won't do any compromise with our ideas. That's what I believe. When I was in the private sector, I was also fighting for more freedom, less regulation, respecting the Constitution. And that's part of our founding principles. So we won't do any compromise with what we believe. So that's bad. That's very bad what they did, these premiers in their provinces. But I wish I know. I can tell you. I can give you an answer to that, but I really don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally fair.
It's so confusing.
Yeah,
what's going on?
Very confusing.
Yeah. So is this me?
Yep.
Yeah. So a majority of our audience are millennials, some of whom might lean more to the left or even to the center. We want to know what you would say to them about the PPC platform specifically that will benefit them more as opposed to what the establishment parties have to offer.
Yeah. First, like I said before, I'm doing politics and we at the PPC are doing politics differently. When I'm saying that, we don't do any polling, we don't do any survey to know what you want to hear, and after that to repeat that to you and try to have your support. We don't try to pander to every special interest group. We have a policy and we have a strong platform based on 4 principles, and all our policies are in line and with these principles. And so maybe it's not so popular to speak about something, but we believe when we speak openly with passion and with conviction, we'll be able to have more support. So for the younger voters, I'm asking them, I don't want to have your support, and I won't try to have your support by your emotion like another politician. I want to speak to your intelligence. And I want you to take some time to go on our website, peoplespartyofcanada.ca, read our platform. And if you like that, I hope you'll support us. But we don't try to appeal to your emotions. We want to appeal to your intelligence, to your reason. And sometimes we must inform the population and maybe educate the population. And I think younger voters will like our platform on freedom. Now we cannot take our freedoms for granted anymore. We need to fight. And I know a lot of them are on social media. There's a bill that just passed yesterday in the House, Bill C-10. So if you're very popular on YouTube, you have a lot of viewers, you can be regulated by the CRTC. Bureaucrats will tell you what you want, what you must say or not. And we must not regulate internet. We must not regulate social media. That can have an impact. And we are the only political party in Canada that is putting freedom in the center of our platform. And for us, it is not a slogan. It is not a buzzword. When I'm speaking about individual freedom, it's the foundation of our party. So I think they will be attracted by our policy for more freedom on social media. They will be attracted also by our policy on the taxation policy, because you will have to pay for this huge deficit, $350 billion, and your taxes will go up. So we are fiscal responsible, and we know that we want to give you more opportunity. And contrary to the establishment political parties, we believe in people. We have faith in you. We have faith that you have the ability, the dignity, and the right to make your own decisions and determine your own destiny. So you are an individual responsible for your actions. If you do a good action, good for you. If you do something bad, you'll have to pay for it. But I think people will appreciate that I'm telling them, and I don't want to impose more regulation from you or more government control. I believe that you know better what is good for you than a politician in Ottawa or a bureaucrat in Ottawa. So that's the foundation of our party. If you believe in yourself, we are there to support you. So I think that's a huge difference. We don't believe in a big fat government in Ottawa that will tell you what to do on social media, that will tell you what to do in your day-to-day life. We believe in people, we have faith in people, we have faith in you, and we will give you all the support you need to be free and prosperous with our policies, and I hope a day I'll be in government and will be able to put these policies in practice. But I'm in politics for midterm. I know that maybe after the next election I won't be prime minister, but we will be there. We'll be able to elect some of our candidates. And I'm telling you, a vote for the PPC. In the end, it's a vote for yourself. It's a vote for your values. It's a vote for you as an individual Canadians. And it's a vote for a more prosperous country, because we think that the country will be prosperous if people are freer than they are right now.
Well, I'm a millennial and you have my vote. So
yeah, and hopefully we find out who the PPC candidate is in our riding soon.
Yeah, in our ridings. Yeah, absolutely.
So we can go out and support them.
Yeah, speaking about the PPC candidate, actually for us right now, we are in the process of approving our candidates, and we have more than 145 candidates approved and ready for the next election.
Wow.
There's 338 ridings in this country, but I can tell you that we will have a candidate in your riding. We are starting in a week our second phase of selection for the selection of our candidates. And our goal is to have all our candidates before the beginning of September, and will be ready for an election. And that's important because we want to give you the opportunity to vote for the PPC. So we need a candidate in every riding, and we'll have a candidate in every riding.
So exciting.
Yeah. So just a couple of light questions before we let you go. You've been the only party leader speaking out against the lockdowns in the past year, and you've been traveling extensively across Canada to speak out at these rallies, and maybe even this Saturday we might see you in Niagara Falls. So what would you say might be the funniest or craziest, actually not the craziest, we know that with the craziest thing.
Prison.
Yeah. What's the funniest story about this past year that maybe no one's heard of?
Yeah, something that happened to you that was like funny.
Okay, let me think about that. Yes, I'm traveling across the country. A funny one. But I was in BC, and I was supposed to speak in the beginning. So and we had a big rally over there. That was a kind of a freedom rally, and they said to me, "Okay, Maxime, you'll be the first speaker." I said, "Okay, you're in charge." So I started to speak, and just in maybe after 5 minutes, the person in charge of that rally came to me and take the mic, and we had a protest just in front of us with Antifa, and the Antifa was throwing eggs at us.
No,
I didn't receive any eggs, but the person in charge took the mic and had a discussion with Antifa. We tried to do, because they were very loud, and it was very difficult for me to speak. But that was a little bit funny because they were not aggressive. So it took maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and they just did what they wanted to do to disturb us for 5 or 10 minutes. And after that, they left, and I was able to do my speech. But it was, I think, because usually when you have Antifa, it can be it can be tough. But in Vancouver, I don't know, they were in a good mood, and their idea was just to do some noises, and they did that. But we were able to go on with our event and our calendar.
That's crazy. That's a lot milder and tamer than your Antifa run in Mississauga.
Oh, and in Hamilton, yeah. I went to, when you were with Dave Rubin speaking in Hamilton, my husband and I went, and we were there when the 90-year-old woman was walking and was getting like harassed by, I mean, there were only like 10 Antifa there at the time, but.
Absolutely. But that was at that time there, that was very aggressive. The people that were in BC at that time were not so aggressive. They were maybe only 25. They were making a lot of noises. But that was it. But that was not the atmosphere that we had at that event over there. I remember that.
They probably had better weed in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Okay. Shame. So we do suspect that most of our listeners already know that you were bravely arrested in Manitoba for standing up for our charter rights. So thank you. But what they really want to know, and what we really want to know, is what was prison like, and did you happen to get an InfoWhores tattoo in prison? You know, like a heart with our
podcast name on it.
Yeah.
Thanks. No for the tattoo, but first of all, I was after when I received 2 tickets in the morning. I'm doing that everywhere when I'm traveling across the country. And because you don't have the right to meet your people inside. So we were doing over there and also in other provinces, meeting outside in a park with the executive of our riding association. So I had that meeting with the executive of my riding association early morning at 10 o'clock. There were about 15 people in the park. We had that discussion. So just after that, I've been arrested. And first of all, because I didn't quarantine when I came to Manitoba. Mm-hmm. And second, because we were more than 5% in the park. And so I received these 2 tickets. And they told me, if you do your second event, and you're doing that event with your people, your political gathering, you have a risk to be arrested. And at that time, I called my lawyer and we had a discussion. And he said, Maxime, what you're doing, it's your right. It's you're free. We are in a free country. You must be able to have a meeting in a park. So, but yes, if you are arrested, that's a risk. That would be your decision. And I decided to go ahead and do that event. And that was a little village, Saint-Pierre-Joli, near Winnipeg, maybe an hour by car south of Winnipeg. 1,000 people, a very little village. And I had a meeting with my executive of my riding association. I think we were outside. You must saw the photo, 5 person. And so after that, they arrested me, they handcuffed me, they treated me like a criminal, and they put me in jail. So I was handcuffed until being in that jail. And the jail, it's like in a movie, you know, it's a small, maybe 7 feet by 7 feet. You have a toilet in the middle. There's camera everywhere and a big light. And that's it. You have a kind of a bed, but it's not a bed. It's it's like a bench in the park. It's very very hard. And I was alone in that cell. You don't have your watch. You don't have your cellular. You don't have anything. You don't know what time is it. And my lawyer told me, Maxime, you must write my phone number on your arm. And that's what I did, because you don't have anything. And the only thing that you have the right to do is to call your lawyer if you don't have his phone number. So I wrote his phone number on my arm. So, and I had the right to do 2 phone calls to my lawyers. And so when I arrived maybe an hour after that, they gave me the right to call my lawyer. I did it. After that, back in the cell. And I was asking a little bit to know what time is it, and they won't tell you that. And usually my lawyer told me, if you ask to call your wife, they may give you that right to call your wife. So after maybe around 7 hours or something like that, you never know, and there's no, you cannot see. It's a cell. There's only a little window and and a little window that is inside, so you don't see outside. And so I asked them if I can call my wife, and they said no, you don't have the right to call your wife. You have only 2 phone calls, like I told you. So I tried to relax a little bit. I tried to think about other things, but that was stressful. And we had an hearing by a conference call with my lawyer, the Crown prosecutor, and also the judge. And so they wanted me to first of all, the Crown said, okay, you will have to pay $1,000 to be out there for being sure that he will be back in Manitoba July the 26th for my hearing, and also a lot of conditions, no right to use social media, a lot of conditions. So, and my lawyer said, we agree with $1,000, but we don't agree with all these conditions. And so the judge decided that, okay, Maxime will have to pay $1,000 and no conditions. So I still have the right to use social media and things like that, and to be able to free to speak about what I believe. And so that's why I signed that document. And after maybe 9 hours, it was 11:30 at night. I was handcuffed and arrested at 2:00 p.m. And at 11:30 p.m. I was out. But the police told me after that, you're free, but you must leave the province as soon as possible. We are following you. And so that's why early in the morning, I decided to take the first flight for Toronto and Montreal. And we had a rally that Saturday at 2:00. One of my candidates was at the rally and delivered a speech. And so, but I'll be back in Manitoba, and I will always fight for what I believe. We will win that case for sure. I'll be back July the 26th, but I'll try to be back before to do all the events that I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Wow.
So answering your question about the jail, it's the lights are very bright. It's a little jail, like I said, 7 feet by 7 feet. You have nothing. There's a toilet in the middle. You don't have any water. And I was alone, so I wasn't able to have a tattoo.
Dang.
Prison tips from Maxime Bernier, only on InfoWhores.
Yeah, right? Your lawyer's phone number on your arm, folks. Well, Maxime, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with a couple of InfoWhores. It's truly been our honor to chat with you.
Much.
Yeah, and just to get to know you and understand a different side of you. So with that, we were wondering if you had anything you wanted to end on, perhaps like a voice message to the world.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. And that's always fun to speak about not only politics, but other things. And that was a great and a fun interview with me. So thank you. With you also, that was fun. First, my advice to everybody, be yourself, fight for what you believe, have fun in life, be responsible. And, if you want to change the world, first, like Jordan Peterson said, do your bed in the morning. And that's the first task. That would be a positive one. And have some goals and try to achieve these goals. And I believe in you. I believe in people. And I think because of you, our country would be a great country. It would be great again, like Trump used to say, would be freer and more prosperous. So do what you have to do. Be responsible, be free, stay strong and free. Thanks.
Love it. Thank you so much. So we were just hoping that before we end, you could say bye with us in unison on the count of 3. 3, 2, 1. Bye.
Bye, everybody.